Welcome, everyone. Today we are going to do a reading for all signs. We're going to break it down per sign, and I will time stamp it at the end. This is about love, all about love. So what I'm going to do is I brought a bunch of my decks out, and I'm going to try to use a different deck for each month. But we may have to go back and repeat, but that's okay. So what I'm planning on doing is taking 3 cards for each sign, using the Gilded Tarot to clarify, and then also using Mother Mary for her words of wisdom over each reading. So, because this is going to be a long reading, and I think my computer only records for, I think it's 2 hours, maybe 3, I'm going to get started. All right, so let's just go ahead and just slide everything over a little bit. And I am going to start with Aries. Aries, I'm going to use the Universal Tarot for you. And again, 3 cards with clarifiers and Mother Mary for each sign. So Aries, what's going on for love with you right now? Let's give him a cup. Okay. Well, hello, Aries. I mean, interesting. There's your major arcana. So if we had any doubt if this is for you, now it can certainly, let me bring the lid down. It can certainly relate to another Aries on top of that. But I also want to say it can also represent someone that you may have a different view about now, and maybe someone where, at one time they have fallen from grace, but now, I feel like they have learned from their lessons, and it's like I can look up to this person now. Interesting, I'm picking that up. So that's definitely for someone, where again, it does feel like someone maybe fell from grace, but yet their vibration has lifted. Another way of saying that is they have learned from their difficult lessons, even if they're the ones who caused it. I feel like they've learned from it. We have the 7 of Cups. Okay. And, well, hello, Wheel. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. Mirroring you, by the way. It's interesting because what comes between the Emperor and Destiny? The 7 of Cups. It feels like a decision. Like a decision that maybe I'm trying to figure out whether I should go forward or not. 7 of Cups can certainly talk about somewhat chaotic energy. It's like wanting to choose a cup, but am I going to choose the right cup? So let's go ahead and bring in the Gilded Tarot right away. And let's see what this decision is about. Again, everything's pre-shuffled, but I do like to give it a shuffle with you here. So I want to know, really we're looking at everything, but I feel like there's a decision being made here, or at least someone wants to make a decision. Maybe they're a little fearful of it. Interesting, we got 3 cards. We have the Hermit, card of Virgo, by the way. Some of you may be connected to a Virgo. That is about deep reflection. It's interesting how I felt like, again, someone fell from grace, but they have learned from that. The Hermit would be the perfect example of that. This Hermit is emerging from the cave. So I've already been through the dark night of the soul. The Hermit is, sharing his beacon of light outwardly. And then we have, interesting, the Queen of Pentacles. Some of you are definitely connected to an earth sign. And then we have the Magician. So I feel like, it depends where you're at in this reading. Some of you are here or you're watching Aries because you may be interested in Aries. So I just get the feeling, whoever this might be, that someone is thinking about reaching out. It's interesting because I feel like someone definitely feels that you are meant to be in their life. Will you be in their life? I feel like that's going to be up to you. It's interesting I'm saying you. It's almost like I feel like there's more people watching who are interested in Aries, though I know some of you are Aries who are watching. But nonetheless, I do feel like someone has definitely evolved within their energy. And it does feel like, it may have taken me a moment or two to figure out what it is I really want in my life, but I feel like they now know. They now know. Mm. All right, let's take Mother Mary over this reading. And I feel like Aries and whoever I'm speaking to, I feel like with the magician here, this is truly the ability to manifest really what it is that's in your heart, is what I feel. Um, I feel like you just have to put action behind it. You got to trust. Even if, let's say, you are rejected, I feel like I'd rather know that than just be, waiting in the wings, wondering, will this ever come together? All right, Mother Mary. We definitely have Aries and Virgo right there. So I definitely feel for some of you, there's a connection. Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Whatever I am most passionate about is the direction I flow. So someone's trying to figure out whether to, I don't feel like what cup to choose. I feel like it's more about a cup of fulfillment, like, like a cup of love. And I feel like they want to offer this cup. But I do feel like, again, this could be someone that you've already been with, because I feel like the hesitation is more about what the other person will think or say. I feel like you feel very strong in your decision. And then I feel like Mother Mary is backing it up. Whatever I am most passionate about is the direction I flow. So if there's someone that you really feel passionate about, I would say take a chance. Take a chance, reach out. Um, Definitely. Especially with the magician right over the wheel. That's a powerful energy. And your major arcana coming out. I feel like I just want to take one more right below that seven. The Page of Cups. Interesting. Makes me feel like this is someone that you were in love with before. And listen, maybe the love never went away. Um, I feel like it's almost like like we were in a relationship and then something went wrong and we broke up. And I feel like time had gone by, but I don't feel like this person's, um, I don't feel like the memory of this person, I don't even feel like the love of this person left. It remained. I do feel like you went on and, lived your life. But it's interesting because now I feel like, it's like maybe we were young here and now showing as the emperor. To me, that would be current energy. And again, I do feel like the evolution of someone, and I feel like it's you. And, Page of Cups, I do feel like, I do feel like, yes, I'm going to have to take a chance here. But I just have a feeling that it's going to be met with appreciation, let's just say. Yes, you may be shot down. But listen, even if you're shot down, I feel like listen, because you may pick up something, of why they may be saying no. You may be able to come to a solution pretty quickly if you're actively listening. I feel like there's a very good chance here. I really do. I feel like there's a good chance. And by the way, I feel like the other person, they're going to be listening carefully to what you have to say. You know, so I don't know. Like I see you like practicing in the mirror of like how I'm gonna approach this, what I'm gonna say, how I'm gonna open up this conversation. So it's interesting because I feel like both, like I feel like the other side is really actively listening to what it is you have to say. But I feel like, they may be looking for clues like, has this person really changed? By the way, I feel like you have been in their heart all along also. So I feel I feel there's no reason not to take a chance. Again, if it's shot down, so be it. Then I can move on. But I don't feel like this is going to be shut down. All right, let's pick this up. And let's move into Taurus. Taurus. I feel like for your monthly readings, really everyone, there was a lot of love. Like I definitely could feel that like the first half of the year had been kind of difficult for a lot of people. But I feel like the energy's lifting. And I have felt that since we had the total eclipse back in April. Like I felt that was really what was lifting energy. All right, Taurus. Look at that, Page of Cups. It's almost like it jumped from Aries reading into yours. We have the Knight of Wands. Nice. That's some type of passion and energy that's coming towards you. I often feel in the Knight of Wands when we're speaking of love, and this is about love, that this feels like the energy of like being swept off my feet, coming right to the Page of Cups. Eight of Swords. Interesting. I don't feel like it's you in the Eight of Swords. I feel like whoever this is in the Knight of Wands, because the one thing you want to remember, at least at my table, about a knight is they're going to complete their mission. Like they're going to come in, ready or not. Doesn't mean that we can't say yay or nay. It really is up to us. But I feel like this is someone who has been kind of like trapped within their own fears for a while. Kind of like held in place. This could be someone who was in a relationship and has now found themselves free. Because I don't feel like this knight would start moving until the Eight of Swords is dealt with. So, and if we remember, the Eight of Swords is a self created prison. I feel like someone has set themselves free from that prison. And now they're moving right towards you. I feel like the Page of Cups is representing your heart, your inner child. Like I feel like this is going to create like butterflies, excitement, but kind of scary at the same time, but scary in a good way. All right, let's take the Gilded Tarot over that. Let's give it a couple shuffles. All right, look at that. The Four of Wands, the marriage card, right over the page. Wow, it's like someone's coming in and truly wants to make a commitment with you. And those may be the words that they speak. I love the Page of Wands with the Four of Wands, or the Page of Cups with the Four of Wands, because I do feel like this is going to affect your inner child. And I feel like that's a really good thing. Though I do feel like, it's going to be, because it's really the Knight of Wands talks about energy that's rushing in. And literally, I feel like someone set themselves free, and it's like they know where they want to go next. They want to come to you. All right, we got a lot here, but we're going to take them. With the Nine of Swords, we have the Moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. We have the Three Swords. Kind of makes me feel like you were together before. Look at this, the Ten of Swords. Nine of Swords goes into the Ten of Swords. But then we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, the Death card, card of Scorpio. But it's also endings. Interesting, because I feel like who's ever in this Knight of Wands, I feel like they have been in some very difficult energy. Whether it been like in a relationship, whatever it might have been in, I feel like it has not been easy. And some of you may be like, well, who cares? You know what I mean? Then you already know your answer as they come in. But I do feel like, this was not overnight energy. Even though the night is rushing in, I do feel like it took a moment. It took a moment. It is definitely like some difficult energy they were dealing with, whether that be like a previous relationship. And it feels like maybe they had to pay some karma back, because I feel like they were in like a repeat pattern. And I feel like they had to realize that. Sometimes people are so afraid of change that they'll stay in not good relationships, not good situations. And I feel like this person who's coming in, I feel like they've been in that situation for a very long time. Saying a very long time, but I definitely feel like there was something they had to learn here. And then you have the Death card, and that is about endings, right? It is about closing of doors. Well, it's touching the Ten of Swords, and then the other side of it is the Ten of Pentacles. Two completely different houses. And then we have the King of Swords and the Eight of Cups. Literally, like someone has walked away. This feels like a lot like Aries reading, where I feel like the other person was dealing with, whether I want to hear it or not. Though in a way, I feel like you do. Um, and I feel the same thing. Like, I'm not sure how my energy is going to be met, as I come towards you. I'm not 100% sure. Though I feel like someone is I feel like very dedicated to making true promise to you. I do love how it went from the Ten of Swords to the Ten of Pentacles, because I feel like that is the potential of where this can go. And the Ten of Pentacles, to me, is perfect for you, because it's the house of abundance, it's a house of loyalty, it's, energy that can really take root. Same as the marriage card up here, right? It's like, I don't want to just date you, I want to be with you. But yet we do have the Three of Swords, so again, I feel like you were probably with this person before. And, I have to leave it up to you to make the decision, whether and listen, I feel like this person's kind of flying by the seat of their pants. Again, uncertain how it's going to be met. It's like, I know that I hurt you, but I feel like they've cleared a lot of energy. And this may have taken some time because, again, I feel like they themselves were in a repeat pattern of, could have been a relationship. Doesn't have to be a relationship, but I do feel like that for quite a while they were dealing with difficult energy. And I feel like what their soul lesson in that is to understand the repeat pattern, was to break that. It's almost like breaking a generational curse. The death card, putting an end and a real end to it. And remember, when the death card shows, that does talk about a rebirth. I feel like the rebirth is with you. I feel like this person definitely, again, has gone through hell. Not that you haven't, because I do feel like here you are, the Three of Swords. And listen, I feel like earlier energy may have felt somewhat unstable, but I feel good about this person now. Like, I feel like with the Ten of Pentacles showing, to me, it feels like someone who's very stable. Maybe I wasn't before, but I feel like now I am. And I also feel like it's interesting, because I feel like they have reflected upon like their lives. They must have to end this cycle because that is what they've done. They've ended a cycle that may have, if they didn't end it, it may have followed into the next generation. All right. But it doesn't seem like it's stopping them from coming in. And I definitely feel like they want to offer you a true commitment. And it is up to you. Of course it's up to you. But when I do readings like this, that like I felt called to do this reading. I was going to do a completely different reading, and I kept getting called to like do all signs love, all signs love. So that's what I'm doing. Um, I feel like the majority, let's just put it that way, the majority who are here would like to see this come together. All right, pairing, pairing. Heaven cares for me, and I keep my heart open to caring about myself, others, and the world. There may be a need for a little forgiveness if is to move forward. But let me clarify that we have the Four of Wands, which is the marriage card, or the commitment card, but not just for now. Like, this is someone who's saying, like, I want to be with you for the rest of our lives. And I do feel the change in them. I just do. I feel the change in them. We have the moon here that could speak of Pisces, but it's also the ruler of Cancer. We have the King of Swords down here, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have Scorpio. Though I don't even know why I'm giving signs, to be honest, because I don't want you to think like if it's not that sign, it's not for you. Feel it. Like, feel the energy. If this feels right for you, then it is right for you. But it is like, again, someone is, moving out of like a very difficult situation, and maybe it's been for a while, and now they're moving into, listen, whether I accept them or not, I feel like they are so much more grounded than they used to be. Again, it does feel like the energy of someone evolving. But listen, again, it may have taken time, and that may be a real turnoff for you. Um, but part of me thinks like your heart, like if I just followed my heart, the answer would be yes. If my mind, my head gets involved, then the uncertainty. I feel like I just want to take where we at? One right in the middle. The Hangman. Slow down, you move too fast. Someone left me a comment says, stop singing. Like when you sing, you lose your place. That's not true. Um, so the Hangman, pause in action. The Hangman is someone who's seeking wisdom on their next steps. What do I do here? And they are seeking spiritual wisdom to be used on this physical plane. So I definitely feel they're being guided. And listen, I feel like they are also working through the fear of contacting you. Okay, let's let that be. I can't let these be too long, otherwise, I think the last time I did all signs, it cut off on Pisces, and I don't want that to happen again. All right, boy, I had a whole system in place here. Gemini. Gemini. We're going to use the Psychic Tarot. I don't think I've been saying the names. Taurus, I use the Tarot Dreams for You. Aries, I used the Universal Tarot. And Gemini, I'm using the Psychic Tarot. Let's give it a cut. Love, love, love. Partnerships and alliances. I've been seeing this a lot through the monthlies for June. And literally, I feel like in the readings that it came in, it literally feel like someone was like saving us in a way. Like I felt that energy of like feeling like I'm falling off a cliff. And then there's this hand that reaches out and pulls me back up. Now, that could be spiritually or it's a person. Hello, Ace of Pentacles. So here it says prosperity begins, right? But again, we're doing a love reading. So let me tell you what the Ace of Pentacles means to me. It means that something is coming into you now. It would be someone is coming into your physical world. It's interesting how all three of the readings so far had this connecting card. And if you look at this image, there's two different hands that are really nurturing this ace. I often feel this is a seed, and it's really going to be up to me or us to either nurture that seed and then watch it grow or ignore it, and it'll just die up and dry up and fall away. Patience and planning. This is the Seven of Pentacles. And, I often feel the Seven of Pentacles, though it doesn't really depict it in this image. It's really like your tree of life. And I feel like it's the seeds that we've been planting. Some seeds I feel like are planted before we even came into this earth. As a spiritual being, it's like you agree to come into this lifetime. And I don't feel like we have a lot of say so, but I do feel like we have some say so. So I feel like this is talking about a seed that has already been planted. And I feel like that seed is coming to fruition. Now, when I say a seed, I mean a person. Look at that 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Some of you could certainly be like a twin flame energy. All right. Oh, look at that. The Ace of Wands. It's go time. Inspired action. You know what else I feel the Ace of Wands is? It's energy that's moving towards me. And it's energy that I should be able to feel. I may not know what it is. I just feel something good is heading my way. Well, you're right. All right. Don't know why I gave him a cut right there, but hello, world. The next chapter, Gemini. This is your next chapter, if you're willing to accept it. I feel like Mission Impossible all of a sudden. Are you willing to accept? You know, the world I love because I feel like it's a very spiritual time in one's life. I do feel like it's the closest energy to God. It is the last tarot card before you move into, well, no, it's the last tarot card. Coming over partnerships and alliances, so you're not alone in that energy. We have the Six of Pentacles. Hello, star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But listen, this is mirroring the world. So it is like a dream is about to come true. A wish is about to be fulfilled. And do I think it's any old wish? I don't, because I feel like this wish was planted. It's almost like two people where you must be soulmates, if not twin flames. But I feel like it's like we agreed to come into this lifetime together. But it doesn't mean like that we agreed to get together right away. Maybe we do get together and then, like if I think of Sam and I's story, like, we were together as teenagers and then broke up and then went on our merry old ways. And 40 years later, we're now back together. And none of it I would have expected, but nonetheless, it happened. Star is also a card of Aquarius. I feel like if I have any Aquariuses here, they're like, hello. Well, look at that. Seven of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. These two souls know. Even if they don't know on a human basis, they know it's time. Like this agreement we made before we came into this lifetime to come together at a certain time. Well, this feels like that time. Gemini, this feels very, very good. Like, I don't feel like there's any energy of, should I? Are they good? Yeah, any of that. I just feel like there's a soul recognition probably immediately. You know what else I love with the Six of Pentacles over the Ace of Pentacles? Is it tells me that this person and you are both very giving, compassionate souls. Someone may have had one of their life lessons in learning the fine art of give and take. Some can be a giver and some are takers. So we need to find that happy balance. But I feel like you did, feel like you have, and I feel like these two Seven of Pentacles definitely is saying that these two people are coming together. Like these souls are going to complete the mission that they had set before they came here. Feels very meant to be. Queen of Cups. I just wanted to go below that ace and then look at that. What I think about it, bring about. Well, here we go. It's funny. I wish I could remember your reading for June, your monthly. But I know it talked about love. When I think about it, I bring about. This is also fast moving energy. Why? Well, because it's pre planned, predestined. Also in 8, as above, so below. No beginning, no end. Number of infinity, and the number of new beginnings. Gemini, you and your soulmate or your twin flame are coming together. And it just feels divinely guided. Like, I really hope that you just allow it. You know what I mean? And why I say that is because, you know, our life, the way our life has gone, could definitely could put a block in between us, but I see no blocks. I see nothing that would say that one is going to say no. I feel like it's like, we come together, and I have a feeling you don't even know this person. You do know them. You know them on a soul level. But this is about divine timing, and this is the time. But listen, it's a wish, it's a dream. And the Ace of Pentacles literally means it's coming into your physical world. But you're ready. And this person, it's interesting how I said this in a couple of readings where I felt like, again, it felt like someone was saving my life. I feel like we need to save our own lives. However, it does feel like at just the right time. This is quite beautiful. All right, let's take Mother Mary. Mother Mary. We have, well, hello, giving and receiving. So that is the Six of Pentacles. I balance being generous and receptive because both are equally important. Both are equally important. And then Father. Father. My true Father is God in heaven who shines healing light upon me, my birth father, and our relationship, which is true. But I also want to say, I feel like for some of you where your father has crossed over, I feel like your father is very important in this, just helping to guide it along. It's already predestined, but I do feel like someone's father or father figure is helping to bring this along. Some of you, this person may remind you of your father. And if that's the case, I mean that in a good way. Okay. Beautiful, Gemini. Just beautiful. We will take it. All right. Let's keep going. Um, Cancer. It's so funny. I had everything so neat, and now everything is kind of just all over the board. Cancer, we're going to use the Light Seers. The deck I really love for you. All right. Queen of Cups. Look how connected this queen is. I always notice the key around her neck. So it's like you always have the ability to unlock any new doors, any new chapters. We have, well, hello, King of Swords, looking right over at the Queen, like, hey, how are you doing? First of all, I feel like when I see this king literally has climbed a mountain. And to me, climbing a mountain means that there are things that I had to overcome. There's energy that I needed to grow from, but I did. I am sitting on my mountaintop. I feel like this king is like, okay, so I've climbed this mountain. Now I'm ready to begin another. Again, he's looking right back at you. Ten of Swords. Interesting. Wow. Ten of Swords. I don't feel like the Ten of Swords was caused by this king. I'm noticing this owl, and that's a sense to me of wisdom. Um, his sword is down. He's not in a defensive mode. I feel like I want to take one more and follow that 10. Look at this. This is why I pay attention to my intuition. The Knight of Cups. So I feel like whatever this Ten of Swords was, and again, this is the energy of literally, I feel like taking sword after sword in one's back. Now, this king could have caused it, right? He could have, allowed those swords to be in his back. He could have put those swords in someone else's back. But I feel like this king has overcome whatever he needed to overcome. He's gained the wisdom that he needed to gain, you know, to, again, he's looking right at you. So, unexpected couple fulfillment. But this queen, she feels like she knows it, like she's connecting to that energy before it even comes in. Because remember, this is unexpected. But again, it's a knight, so it's going to complete its mission. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. This knight's coming right for you because it is mirroring you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Knocking my people all around. All right. Hello, King of Cups. Right over the Queen of Cups. Five of Wands over this King. Death card, which I'm happy to see, over the Ten of Swords. That means that period has ended. The door has been closed. That's why the Knight is now out. And then the King of Swords again. Look at that. First of all, I feel like the King of Cups comes over you. I love that we have the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the King of Cups. So to me, this feels like-minded energy. Though I'm not going to say it has to be a water sign. King Cups can be a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces. We do have Scorpio here. But honestly, what I feel like it's about like-minded energy. And again, this feels like another king who had to get through these swords, right? It feels like their own life lesson, how to close the door to it, right? How to learn that lesson. And I know that this king did because I do feel like this king has climbed the mountaintop. And I find it interesting that this king, same king, is now over the Knight of Cups. It almost feels too good to be true. Though, in the same breath, let's not forget that the Ten of Swords is here. But the Death card over that, right? Closing of a door so that there can be a rebirth in my life. I feel like that's what the King is saying. But I also feel like you're connecting to this energy. Again, the energy of feeling it before it even arrives. Let's just take one more. Strength card Leo. But this is the energy of overcoming. This is someone who has done some deep reflection about oneself. It could certainly be someone who could have drank too much, partied too much, and realized that that has come in between me and really how I want my life to be now. It doesn't mean I regret the past. Maybe I had a lot of fun. And by the way, I don't really think that this was at your expense. I really don't feel that. Again, a number 8, a new beginning, right? A new day has dawned. King has overcome. And now this king's energy is coming towards you, but you're already connecting to it. And I also find it interesting how I said about this, the queen wearing this key around her neck. Well, here's the death card. And that does talk about closing of doors and then the opening of the next door. It's almost like she energetically has that key. And it's like this king feels that, knows that. Listen, I may not even know who this person is at this point because I don't feel that it's you who has, I'm not going to say you haven't suffered in your life, but I'm not getting this feeling like that this king is a cause of, I really feel like it's the king who um, had gone through this chapter, which probably needed to. All right, let's take Mother Mary. Someone also said, and I don't know why I'm bringing this all up, but someone did say that, like, my videos should be 15 minutes max. And I thought, that's no way it's going to happen on my channel. You know what I mean? Because even with these readings, I want to go deeper and deeper. But listen, they may relate back to your monthly readings. So, if you haven't watched your monthly readings or listen, maybe if you do recognize that energy, you may want to watch it again to really find that clarity. But we get feminine. Feminine. I allow my feminine nature to shine brightly as a valuable part of my identity. Oh, yeah, you're bringing it out, Cancer. You're bringing it out. And I feel like someone's helping you bring it out. Like this does feel good. This feels very good. And again, this knight is going to complete their mission. You do, it seems like you hold the key to their heart. Will you allow? I hope you do. I hope you do. Okay. Okay. Let's move into Leo. And Leo, I am using the good tarot for you. Let's give him a cut. Definitely feel like that was it. The moon. Card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer, your neighbor. Look at that. Your neighbor on the other side, Hermit, card of Virgo. So it's like both your neighbors are here. And then it's interesting, you have three major arcanas. You have Temptation. This is the devil. This is the card of Capricorn. So you have Pisces, ruler of Cancer. You have Virgo, and you have Capricorn. And I feel like I want to take one more since they're all major arcanas. Six of Wands. It's the energy of victory. Being victorious within something. It makes me feel like that moon that I was talking about, like the total eclipse, where I felt like the energy was going to get lighter and lighter. By the way, 8 plus 1 is a 9 with a 9 right next to it. 5 plus 1 is a 6 with a 6 right next to it. I don't know. Synchronicities. All right, let's take the Gilded Tarot right over this and see why you have all major arcanas. Now, you may have a few people who are pursuing you, or maybe you're pursuing. Oh, did not even plan on giving that cut, but the cut is what I did. Okay. Whoa. Okay, let's take them as they came. The Death card Scorpio, closing of the door. It's about a rebirth coming over the moon. There's that King of Swords back. Now it's coming right over the Hermit. Queen of Pentacles over Temptation. So chances are this is a Capricorn. Not for everyone, for the majority of you. Look at this, another night. It's like every reading has gotten a night. I love this night. To me, this is guardian angel energy. This is a slow moving night, but it moves slow with purpose. And can we help them speed up the energy? I feel like yes, because I feel like when we close doors that really are no longer suiting us anyway, it's a signal to the universe that we're ready for whatever is next. This night is bringing in a pentacle. And don't forget, that Ace of Pentacles is meant to really enhance your life, change your life, but in really good ways. And I love how it's coming over the Six of Wands. Well, hello, Ten of Pentacles. Judgment, your spiritual team. What are they doing? They're calling you to the present moment. Why? There's about to be a rebirth. Signs. Signs will be sent. And then we have the Five of Wands under temptation. And let's just take one more to fill out the block. Look at this, the Five of Cups. So I have a feeling this is talking about two people who potentially already know each other. Maybe who have been together and maybe have had some difficulties in the past. But it's also interesting because, we have the Knight of Pentacles here, which is my favorite knight, coming over the energy of being victorious. But then you look below it, it's the Five of Cups. So first of all, remember, every time you see a five, it's asking for change. It's asking you to consider change. So I feel like something must have happened. Because again, I'm in the energy of really this is about some type of an emotional loss. But what I have to be careful about in this energy is, not to be in the woe is me type energy, even if I deserve it. Because really, what's behind this person is two cups, a soulmate. And even if I've been with this person before, it just might not have been the right time. Because again, the Knight of Pentacles is saying, I come in at the right time. And judgment is like calling you to the present moment. And listen, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So I feel like, first of all, the Knight that says, I'm bringing a Pentacle in is really going to enhance your life. Well, hello. Take me to the Ten of Pentacles, please. So again, loyalty. Since this is a love reading, we're talking about love that can truly take root. Even if we've been together before, listen, maybe we were just young and dumb. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we don't have to overthink. Sometimes we were just young and dumb. I can kind of relate that back to Sam and I. We were just young and dumb. But then we did find our way back to each other. So, I feel like you do have someone coming back. And I love the judgments coming over the hermit because to me that means, someone's had real spiritual clarity. They're no longer living just, well, let me put it a different way. Their spirituality has grown probably by leaps and bounds. I feel like the old energy, literally what I feel is it feels like energy that needed to mature. We could have fallen in love at a young age. But then, life gets in the way. And then we went on and did our own thing. But I feel like again, it's the energy of like, but I never stopped thinking about you. Doesn't mean like you were in the forefront of my brain at all times. No, but you may have been like when life was not going so great, when I lay my head down in the pillow at night, you may have been my calm within the storm. It's like you I thought about, and vice versa. And what else I love is I know that the Knight of Pentacles will not come in unless the timing is right. And for some of you, it may simply mean like maybe there's doors that you also need to close or a door. Let's not forget that the hermit's got all these keys hanging up. So it's not like there's only one door I can choose from. Maybe I choose none of them. But yeah, I feel like with the Knight of Pentacles here, if this wasn't good, it wouldn't happen. If it wasn't, when I say meant to be, it doesn't mean it has to be because you do have free will. But this feels divinely guided. Let's just put it that way. And I do feel like this is talking about two people who were together before. And I do feel like they dealt with some, again, it could have been like, a lot of partying, that type of thing, and temptation. But I feel like we've had a lot of growth. And I don't think this is about, again, just for the moment. I feel like this is for the rest of your lives, if you so choose. And by the way, I do find it very interesting that you have both your neighbors here. You got your neighbor to the right, neighbor to the left. So for some of you, literally, it could be a neighbor or someone in the neighborhood. But I'm sure that's not for everyone. I know it's not for everyone. All right. Leo. All right. Virgo. My fellow Virgos. By the way, when I did Gemini, I should have said that I do have a Gemini moon. But I do also have a Virgo sun. So we're going to move into Virgo, and we're going to use the Cozy Witch Tarot. Virgo. All right. We have the Six of Pentacles. Again, that fine art of give and take. What's it say here? Every blessing you give will eventually be returned to you. Every blessing you give will eventually be returned to you. It's karma. There's good karma, there's bad karma. What type of karma am I creating right now? It reminds me of like, the seeds that we need to plant right now to really predict, like you don't need to be a psychic to predict your future. All you need to do is think about what seeds am I planting right now? Where are my intentions? Do I believe that good things can happen or am I stuck in the past type of energy? Anyway, we have the Eight of Wands, fast moving energy. Light a fire underneath your conjure and go, go, go. That Chariot. Unlimited potential. Card of Cancer. Um, this is about the balance of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, or the feminine and the masculine within all of us, the light and dark that we all carry. And it truly is about finding balance within. And I feel like when we find that balance within, our life really has unlimited potential. We just have to know that. I feel like I want to take one more. I want to follow that Cancer. And we have the Three of Swords. Okay, so chances are the two of you have been together. So, I don't think the Chariot would be here if the Three of Swords was still like, you know, the most prevalent of energy. I feel like we all have had our heart broken. And what I love about this image is this person's learning about that. Like they literally they're going to a library. They've taken books out. And it may be like how to overcome. It could be spiritual lessons. I know I've done that. But let's bring in the Gilded Tarot and go deeper. All right. By the way, 6, 7, 8. So right away there's progression. It's almost like the three doesn't fit. So to me that means that's old energy because it's almost like I want to take it out of the reading. I'm not going to, but I do feel like it's old energy. I'm not sure what that is. It almost feels like first I thought it was two cups, but maybe it's two white doves. I'm not really sure. But something's pulling my attention to. All right. We have the Eight of Cups. Two eights, 88. There you are. The Hermit. And listen, before I move on, I feel like I need to stop for a second because the Eight of Cups talks about someone who, was bold enough to like really dig in their emotional house to really understand like what? Well, the Three of Swords. How it affects me. Is it still affecting me? So it's probably, energy, old energy, but I don't want it to come in between me and my blessings. The Chariot, I feel like, doesn't move until we are balanced. So because it's here, I feel like you must have found some balance. Um, but another thing with the Eight of Cups, I feel like, once this person finds emotional clarity, and it's not about reviewing every single cup that has fallen over. Some of them were just literally free will choices. Some of them were made like, just, out of the blue type of thing. Um, like we knew going in it wasn't going to be good, but yet we went anyway. And it's not to blame yourself. It's really just to find clarity. It's to know yourself. This person's heading to the Nine of Cups, and they're literally heading that way, which is about a cup of fulfillment. And then you have the Hermit. Well, that tells me, and again, the Hermit's emerging from the cave. Beacon of light is lit, right? To me, that signifies my wisdom, my spirituality. This is what I trust. It's also illuminating a snake. So it's like trusting that, like trusting within your own spiritual wisdom as things start moving towards you, because again, energy is moving towards you. feel like a card flipped, and it did. Look at that, another eight. So you have three eights. You know, new beginnings. Also, what I think about, I bring about. It's coming over the chariot, illuminated by the hermit, illuminated by your spirituality, what you already know on a soul level. Again, that chariot doesn't move until true balance has been found. I have a feeling that's why we opened up with the Six of Pentacles. It's almost like I don't want to get in the habit of blaming, I don't know, like how to say this, like every time I've had my heart broken, you know, they weren't all soulmates. Let's just put it that way. Because I feel like this is talking about, well, first of all, I feel like you have the ability to manifest. But then coming over the chariot, it's like don't put any limits upon, where this can go. Virgo, I have a feeling you're being called into your playful type energy, like to allow that part of yourself to come out. I do feel like for some of you, you have ended a relationship and someone may have heard about that. And then, I feel like in their mind, they may be thinking, oh, this is my chance. This is my opportunity. But I get a feeling you don't even know that yet. Okay. We got a few, but we're going to take them. Judgment again. Present moment. Rebirth. No wonder we have so many eights. Eights are new beginnings. Sign, everywhere a sign. And that you can trust in. But this is calling you to the present moment. And it's sitting right next to the Eight of Wands, which is fast moving energy. All right, let's see what else we have. Well, hello, Ten of Cups. Beautiful. Nine of Pentacles. There you are. Another card of Virgo. Some of you could be double Virgo. I know Sam's a double Virgo. Oh my gosh. And then the Ten of Pentacles. Look at that. Some of you, I feel like, even though this is a love reading, I want to say, I feel like some of you are working from home and you're loving it. I feel like you're loving it. And I feel like you're becoming much more efficient. Like, I feel like your money is being raised. But listen, it's due to your own wisdom. It's due to your hard work. This is seeing the fruits of your labor. But this is a love reading, right? So not only do we have the Ten of Cups, which is great. That's a house of love, a house of harmony. But we also, again, have the Ten of Pentacles. Well, for an earth sign, I love the Ten of Pentacles, right? Because to me, it does mean loyalty. Again, this is energy that can take root, that will last, if we allow for the rest of our lives. We have to understand it doesn't guarantee us that there won't be any issues, but this is the type of energy where we will work it out together. Singular energy, coupled. Singular, coupled. Unlimited potential. And it's like what I think about, I bring about, and your spiritual team is like, okay, well, here it comes. I need your attention now, right? I will send the signs. I feel like the Three of Swords in the Eight of Cups is you allowing that to go. Like you're saying goodbye to it. You're not going to allow it to rule the day anymore. Virgo, this just feels like the highest type of love. I mean, the Ten of Cups and the Nine, and the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. Your wisdom. Your spirituality. You know that it's not good to hang on to the past. right? That I've got to learn to let those things go. And to me, that's a sign to the universe, right? And it's like, again, when I think about it, I bring about, and I may not even consciously, it could be like subconsciously, but it's coming. And it's coming through the chariot's energy, which is quite beautiful. Again, unlimited potential. No wonder we see not only the Ten of Cups, but also the Ten of Pentacles. Wow. Oh, let's take Mother Mary. Wow. Can we have it all? Why not? Like, if we're working hard, if we're, good people, if we think about, which I know many of you do, many of you are natural healers. And don't forget, that means you need to also allow yourself to heal. It's easy to help other people. Not easy, but it's like, it just feels like your natural energy to help others to overcome. But then you also have to allow yourself to overcome. All right, well, there you go. Signs everywhere, sign. I notice for, I'm sorry, I watch for, notice, and trust the signs that heaven continuously sends. Sign, hello, blessings. I don't know, Virgo, I feel like you've taken the cake so far. Blessings. Well, I mean blessings. Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. So, those are real blessings. Today, I count my blessings small and large, and I notice the new gifts that come to me from God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen. All right, Virgo. Okay. Libra. My beautiful Libras. We are going to use the Luminous Tarot. Oh, I can smell Sam started the grow up. We have a charcoal grow. I can smell the charcoal. Smells so good. All right. So it feels way too early to eat. Queen of Pentacles. Can be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Look at this. King of Cups right next to this queen. It's interesting because their backs are to each other. Like she's looking this way, he's looking this way. Nine of Swords. It's almost like two people who have gotten into some type of an argument. I'm going to follow that though. Look at that. The Nine of Cups. Listen, first of all, Queen of Pentacles can certainly talk about with the Nine of Swords overthinking something. Overthinking something to the point where it stops me from moving forward. What am I overthinking? Well, I feel like love. Because here is this King of Cups, right? And he's got this cup in his hand. And then you have the Nine of Cups, which is about a fulfillment of a wish. Well, you take that cup he's holding, add it to the Nine of Cups, we have the Ten of Cups. But what's coming between these blessings? The Nine of Swords. Fear factor. Overthinking. Doesn't mean you don't have every reason in the world, but it won't get you anywhere. That's just the truth. It doesn't mean you have to say yes, but still, overthinking to the point. Sometimes we'll overthink something so much so that whatever we're overthinking fades away. It's like, whoa, here I am overthinking something, and it's no longer even here for me. Libra, I feel like you are this queen, male or female, by the way, because this queen, again, has her back to this king. Her head is down, though. And, she does feel a little sad. Like, I feel that. Like, a little unsatisfied. Almost like her heart is hurting in a way. But again, it does feel like a blessing on its way. Why am I going to overthink it? Well, let's go to the Gilded Tarot for that. All right. Why is my queen overthinking the potential of the fulfillment of love? Maybe I don't believe it can be so. King of Cups again. The Moon. The Sun. The Lovers. Over the Nine of Cups, by the way. The Two of Swords over this queen, or under this queen. So there is her overthinking. It means there's a blindfold on in this energy. Something she doesn't want to face, but she needs to face it. I mean, who am I to tell her to face it, right? But that may be why I said, like, am I overthinking something, and then what I overthink is just no longer there anyway. And then the Knight of Wands. Someone's got a lot of passion for you. Someone's got a lot of passion for you. King Cups beside the Queen, now literally right on top of the Queen. This King is mirroring the Lovers. So the Lovers must be this King and Queen. Now, the Lovers is the card of Gemini. It is a head over heart decision, no doubt. But here's the Sun right next to it. Card of Leo, ruler of Leo. But this is about illumination. I like that it's coming over the Nine of Swords, so it's allowing me to see that I may be, again, overthinking something due to some type of fear, due to something that's already happened. And of course, I don't want it to happen again. It's definitely showing the connection between these two, with the Lovers coming over the Nine of Cups. And again, this King holding a cup. So I feel like that is, if it's allowed, is going to turn into the Ten of Cups. The Knight of Wands, passion. And that may scare you. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this passion, maybe the way it makes you feel, it's like, oh, it's scary. Why? Well, maybe I've felt that before and then something didn't work out. But do I make this King pay the price? It could have been the King. But this feels like energy that's evolved from there. So I don't feel like this King has any ill will towards you. Quite the opposite. First of all, he's beside the Queen, and now he's like right over top of the Queen, mirroring the Lovers. And then the Sun illuminating not just the Nine of Swords, but also the Lovers. It's like whether you recognize it or not, I feel like someone else recognizes you and how you make them feel. To me, the Lovers is a lot of chemistry. And I love that it's coming over the Nine of Cups again. It is about a fulfillment of a wish, even if I'm a little fearful. I'm just hoping you still move forward. I feel like that sun wants to illuminate your thought system so it doesn't like come in between you and, let's just say, your blessings. I feel like that sun's going to remove the blindfold. And I feel like because the king literally went from the side of her now right above her, I feel like that to me is a sign of how much this person really does want to be with you. Now, of course, this could be either way, depending on who you are, but passion, love, illumination, really childlike energy, playfulness, but will I allow it? You have the sun and moon right there. Sun, again, this could be a twin flame. And it's like, I don't know how much time, if we already know each other, has gone in between. But I don't know if that's even important because I feel like this is about what's happening now or very soon. And then the lovers, June, right? June. I just want to take one more. Okay, Eight of Swords. So I got to break myself free from this. And I am the only one who can do that. Though the sun is here to help, really help illuminate that. I'm a little fearful of love. But I hope I can find a way to at least put my feet in the water, right? Put my toes in the water and take it from there. Okay. Wow. And that was what? Libra, right? Libra. All right. So we're going to go into, let me just clean this up a little bit. We're going to go back to the Universal Tarot, and this is for Scorpio. Scorpio. Scorpio in love. All right. I wanted to give that a couple good shuffles first. All right, Scorpio. Chariot. Card of Cancer. King of Pentacles. Looking right over at that chariot. Can be Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Doesn't have to be. Eight of Swords. I want to follow that Eight of Swords. Look at that, the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is mirroring the Chariot. Let's not forget the Ace of Wands. It's passionate. It is about new growth. If you look at that wand, there's new growth all over it. And the Chariot really represents unlimited potential. But what could come between? What could come in between my unlimited potential? The Eight of Swords. Now, I'm not necessarily even saying it's you, because something is telling me it was this king. Like they're the ones who carried, let's just say, the fear factor. They're the ones who needed to break themselves free. And maybe it's a situation. Maybe it's from, limited ideas. Maybe they're just fearful of love. But I feel like not anymore. Because the Ace of Wands tells me that if it was them who carried this Eight of Swords, that they did break themselves free. That they're ready for this new growth with you. All right, bring the Gilded Tarot in. Whew. All right, well, luck came out, but I'm not going to turn him down. 3 cups. So, a reason to celebrate. Give myself some room here. That's what it means. It's the energy of joy over the chariot. You know, this joy is unlimited. Hello, 9 of Cups with the King. Temperance. Card to Sagittarius. This is about divine timing. It's also patience. Patience is really Temperance's first message. Patience, my child. Why? Because someone's in a self-created prison. And that won't fit this divine energy. So we've got to give them the time to break themselves free. We can't really do anything about it. It has to be them. I feel like that's what divine is saying. The Knight of Swords. There's another knight. The 6 of Pentacles. 3 of Wands. Hello, Ace of Wands. Did I see that in your reading? But look at this, 2 aces. Both wands. 5 of Wands. And then the Wheel. Okay. The first thing I felt when I turned over the 5 of Wands is, for some of you, this is someone that you probably already know. And I feel like there was a period of time when there was probably a lot of like battling, like a lot of ego type energy, and nobody really wanted to back down from it. I feel like something just didn't, go the way it could have gone. But again, this Ace of Wands, and we have 2 Aces of Wands, feels like it's an opportunity for new growth. So, someone must have broken themselves free from the 8 of Swords. Otherwise, I don't know how these aces could come in, right? And then the Wheel, destined, right? Part of your destiny. The 3 of Wands, an optimistic view. This is living in the present moment and just saying to yourself, I know my ships will come in when they're meant to come in. What Temperance would say, you're right, my dear. All in divine timing, and you don't need to worry about it. Like the things you cannot control, give them to me. And you just enjoy as much as you can your present moment. Because then look what happens. Boom. The Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands. Some of you may be mirroring another. You may find that you have very similar situations, or you've been in very similar situations. Knight of Swords to me means that there is communication coming in. And I have to say, it has to move through Temperance's energy, which means it must move in divine timing. And another way of saying that is, until that 8 of Swords is uncreated, I feel like Temperance holds that communication back. Why? Well, because I probably won't receive it in the 8 of Swords, no matter who's carrying it. And listen, maybe both of you were. Because again, I feel a little bit of mirroring type energy. But you do have the 9 of Cups, a fulfillment of a wish. You have the Wheel. You have 2 Aces of Wands, passion. It's almost like undeniable. And listen, this type of relationship where I feel like there is a lot of passion, I think what we got to remember is, if there's a lot of passion when it comes to like loving each other, making love to each other, that type of thing, well, then if we argue, there's probably a lot of passion there too. And I feel like maybe we just need to realize that. Maybe our words get carried away. Um, and Scorpio, you can sting, but listen, I feel like you only use your stinger when you need to. But I also feel like I'm getting carried away because the Chariot is literally saying this is unlimited potential. It is a reason to celebrate. I do feel like it brings joy to your heart. And I feel like it's all in divine timing. So who's ever carrying that Eight of Swords? It's when they break free from that. I feel like Temperance is like, okay, now it's time. But listen, you sit on each other's wheel. It does feel meant to be. But again, that doesn't guarantee me. I feel like someone had to learn, like if this is an old relationship, there could have been like where really one was the taker and one was the giver. And I'm sure the giver eventually got tired of that. So if this is the same relationship, then there would be growth here. I mean, I don't feel like Temperance would bring it out otherwise. So I feel like the communication, I feel like I can trust the communication. And again, I feel like through the communication, you may find out that you have a lot of similarities. You know, again, the wheel, to me, meant to be. Doesn't mean it has to be, but it can be. And Three of Wands feels like the best way to look at this, right? I don't even need to know where the final destination is going to be. I'm just going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy the moments. And then I feel like it'll just develop from there. Okay, let's pick that up. I don't want to run out of time. I notice they're getting a little longer as I go along. Aries will probably be like, that's not fair. Okay. Um, hmm. I forget what I use. I use the Tarot of Dreams after that. So let's bring the Tarot of Dreams back in. And this is for Sagittarius. Let's give it one more. Sagittarius in love. Hello, Six of Cups. Someone that I used to know. Someone that when I think about them brings a smile to my face, joy to my heart. Queen of Cups, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Doesn't have to be any of that though. The High Priestess. Some of you may be feeling that someone is returning from your past back into your life. Let's just take one more. Seven of Swords. Now I kind of wish I didn't, but I felt called to. So I have a feeling this is talking about someone who may be coming back into your life. And listen, maybe the first time around, I feel like you definitely fell in love. Um, but I also feel like with the Seven of Swords, it could have been energy where I couldn't really trust this person 100%. Um, but your intuition, the High Priestess is here. So I feel like this is a sign also to tell you that if you allow your intuition to be front and center, if anyone's coming towards you that you would need to worry about that carries untrustworthy energy, we'll make sure the alarm bells ring. You know what I mean? And you won't be able to ignore them. Now, you can choose to ignore them, but then that is a choice. Some of you may just feel the connection from the past. And I'm not even saying that necessarily this person from the past. And I do feel like this is probably someone you knew, at a younger time. I'm not even saying that they're the ones who carries the Seven of Swords. Maybe they did. I don't feel like it's now. I don't feel like it's now. But let's go ahead and bring in the Gilded Tarot. Just want to check my time. Let's give it one more. All right. We have Four Pentacles. It makes me feel like someone from my hometown. We have the King of Wands coming right over the Queen. We have the Ten of Swords over the High Priestess. Interesting. I feel like for some of you, this person is like from your hometown. We have the Moon over the Seven of Swords. Oh, look at this. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Again, under the Six of Cups. Sagittarius, I feel like you've come such a long way that, I feel like saying, like, when I was younger, I may have gotten into some relationships that just were no good for me. But I feel like the reason I did is because I didn't trust my intuition. I feel like the red flags were sent, but I didn't pay attention to them. And listen, that's the majority of us. That's something we learn as we grow. With the Hangman. Listen, I do feel like if this, again, is someone coming in from your past, I feel like for you, it's going to be very important that you know that they're trustworthy. And that's a really the biggest reason to make sure you're paying attention to your intuition. Well, hello, Will. The devil. It's like the devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. Six of Wands, victory. The Chariot again. It seems to be like in a lot of people's reading. The Four of Swords, beautiful. So that is healing of the past. And then look at this, the Ace of Pentacles. That makes complete sense to me. It feels like it's showing us the journey. And I'm not, again, I don't 100% feel like the person that's coming in, again, from your past, and listen, you're coming into each other's life. I'm not 100% sure it's them that carried that Seven of Swords. But it's funny because I do get this saying of like, well, the devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. But then you do have the Four Swords. So whatever, with all these swords out, the Ten of Swords, right? Sword after sword in my back. But was I paying attention to my intuition? I feel like that's a question you want to ask. Because I feel like I may have gotten to some relationships that just, again, were, well, kind of shitty. But that doesn't mean every relationship's going to be that way. I feel like the Ten of Pentacles is showing again as a sense of loyalty because I do feel like that's so important for you. I feel like even though the wheel's here, again, destiny, I feel like the Hangman is saying, you don't have to go quickly. Ace of Pentacles, though, is literally saying it's coming into your physical world. And I love that the Ace is following the Four of Swords, the healing. The Chariot right before that, you talk about feminine side or masculine side. Maybe it's finding balance in all. Because, again, that chariot, if it comes in before its time, it's kind of like trying to drive a car with four flat tires. But if it comes in divine timing, well, then it can just go and go and go and grow and grow and grow. And it is connected to victorious energy. Hmm. Okay. I just feel like I do. I feel like someone may say, like, it feels like the devil made me do it. Um, and I don't feel like I would be doing this reading. Of course, I could be giving you a heads up, but at the same time, because I feel like really in the Six of Cups, I feel like this is someone where my mind went to during like difficult times in my life. And, whoever is in that Ten of Swords energy, it kind of feels like a relationship outside of this. But I feel like if there's any fear that remains, then that's what the hangman is here for. Like, just go slow. But I feel like there will come a point where you do start believing and trusting, and vice versa, by the way, both people. Both people need to be able to trust. Both people need to be able to give. Both people need to be able to receive. But other than that, I love how the Ace of Pentacles follows the Four of Swords. So I feel like, and the Ace of Pentacles is mirroring the Ten of Pentacles. This feels like the House of Loyalty. So I feel like this is more about someone that in my heart that I turn to during my times of sorrow, during the things that I've gone through. And it's almost like it's you in a way who, I probably thought about it and thought about it. Like, what could we have been? And then the opportunity shows itself. Let's find out what we can be in this energy. Okay, gonna let that be. And we are moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn. Psychic Churro. Capricorn. Psychic Churro. Just give it one more. All right. Capricorn in love. Well, hello, love begins. Ace of Cups right off the bat. Love begins. Look at this. Tower. Temptation. Well, there's your card. So let's go ahead and take one more. Choose wisely. Choose wisely is mirrored by that Ace of Swords. Again, I feel that energy of, I feel like there was a period of time that I was really in my lower vibrational energy. And, no excuses for it because I feel like it's what I wanted to be, it's where I wanted to be. Like, it's just, the energy I wanted to be in at that time. But I feel like what I've really figured out is it didn't really serve me, right? Probably more, I've hurt more people than made friends with. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like there's something that I do need to take accountability for. But I feel like you do because I feel like it's you evolving, because it's like your finger is on that light, right? And that light is connected to a key, and that key unlocks the next door. Well, what could that door be? It would have to be the Ace of Cups. And, you may be saying the same thing. So I just want to say real quick 15, 16, the one in the 7, 17 progression. But what do I want to say? Of course it could go either way, but I do feel like there is someone who just had to be accountable for their previous actions. Though in a way, it's like I feel like saying, I was who I was. I did what I did. But I have evolved. And I almost feel like it's not that I want to say I'm sorry because again, it's just the way I chose to live my life. Now, this doesn't mean that you were connected. You could have been, but I feel like if you were, it was for a short period of time. I almost feel like it's the evolution. It's like I suffered so many towers that I started to realize that until I cleared my own energy, until I balanced my own energy, it was just going to continue to look that way, right? A tower after tower. But I don't feel who's ever speaking at this point, whether it be you or someone else, I don't feel like that's the energy I want to live in anymore. And I feel like someone's talking about like their teenage years into like their young, maybe 20s, maybe even longer. But again, I feel like it's just kind of who I am. Hello, Will, over the Ace of Cups. Wow. Hello, Ace of Pentacles, over the Tower. Judgment, right over your major arcana. Three of Wands, over Choose Wisely. King of Swords keeps making its way out. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, though doesn't have to be. If anything, I feel like this is a king. Let's talk about this king for a second because this king could certainly be Capricorn, or it could be any sign. I feel like really what it's talking about is the evolution of conversation. Like my words, like the realizations that I've had. The King of Swords is someone who integrity is important to them. Truth is important to them. Doesn't mean I always lived in my truth, but that's what I feel like. I feel like someone has evolved, and then judgment. It's almost like pointing out, like why can't I have this great love? And it's like judgment is pointing out why. Well, there's some lower temptational energy that you just need to recognize, and put an end to it. Because I feel like when I put an end to it, then the ace, it shows up, the Ace of Pentacles, right? Again, that Ace of Pentacles means something coming into your physical world. Well, this is a love reading. And that Ace of Pentacles is right next to the wheel. And that wheel is right over love begins. And then we have the Strength card. So I do feel like, to me, it does feel like someone has just evolved. And listen, I don't know if like I say I'm sorry, that type of thing. But I do kind of feel like it's just like I almost feel like I don't want to give excuses because it's just who I was at the time. It definitely tells us that this is something that was within them, right? It's something that they had to overcome. And listen, when this person from the strength card does, well, then I feel like they become the spirit warrior. Like there's really nothing I can't overcome at this point. 8, a new beginning, judgment, present moment. It certainly means signs, but I definitely feel like I've evolved. And again, I'm not even certain that you've been with this person. And, I get this feeling that I just may meet someone like out of the blue, but I feel like I'm ready. Like I'm ready now. Like I had my fun. Not that being in a relationship or falling in love can't be fun. It can be. It can be romantic, all of the above. But I feel like, the lower temptational type energy is like done with that. I understand. I understand that it's caused many towers in my life. And even if I'm not apologizing for it, I do have that realization. And it's like your spiritual team is like, you got to grow up. You got to grow up. Now, I don't know if I'm speaking to Capricorn, or if I'm speaking to the other person. But literally, it's saying love begins. And then the Ace of Pentacles coming into your physical world and the wheel. You sit on each other's wheel. This is just part of your destiny. 3 of Wands. Again, it's that energy of letting go of control, and enjoying what we have right here, right now. And, really what you're doing in that energy is you are building your future, but you're not putting limitations upon it. I mean, this is showing that it's literally coming into your life. Again, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? I want to say bad boy, but I feel like I'm not a bad boy anymore. I'm not a bad girl anymore. All right. Um, Aquarius. 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 It's funny how that lady said, don't sing. And now I think I'm singing like every reading. By the way, when I do sing, it's not just because I feel like singing. I feel like what I'm singing has something to do with the reading. Like that's why I just burst out into song. Is because I feel like that's what's being called for. Now, if you're talking about my voice, I already know I don't have a good singing voice. Oh, all right. Well, Aquarius, I don't know why I shuffled for your cards, but I did. All right, we start with the Tower. We have the 4 of Swords healing over that tower. The 8 of Pentacles. The Hermit. The Knight of Swords. And the Wheel again. Now I know why I was called to do these readings. With the Wheel keeps showing up, it just feels like for a lot of you, it's just destined timing. Will you allow? Will you allow? I feel like the majority of you will, because I don't think you'd be here otherwise. All right, so let's look at this. So we open up the reading with the Tower, but it's mirrored by the Hermit. So that tells me someone's had some deep reflection over the Tower. Not only deep reflection over it, but then the Four of Swords, healing. And that's really what we got to learn to do. Like, understand what we can understand. You know, definitely pray for clarity if you need clarity, but then pay attention to the signs. You know what I mean? But I do feel like this tower is healed. Like I feel like it's already healed. And some of you might be connecting with someone that you work with or who does something very similar to you. Knight of Swords would definitely represent, again, the knight completing their mission. What mission are they on? Some type of communication. But listen, it's because of the wheels right there also. So they must feel that energy. I don't know if I said the Hermit is a card of Virgo, but I want to put that out there. All right, let's take the Gilded Tarot over this. This feels like a very simple message to me. Like, like we all have towers in our lives. And we really do have to learn to like understand them and then let them be, let them go. Sometimes towers happen because of our own actions. Sometimes towers happen because we're not being proactive. So our spiritual team is like, okay, well, we're going to shake things up to the point where we'll get some type of movement out of you, right? Because you're moving to the wheel and healing. It's interesting because I feel like here, someone may be coming in to apologize. Hello, lovers. Part of Gemini. Head over heart decision. This is love, baby. This is chemistry. It's undeniable. Could certainly even talk about past lifetimes. Though I do get this feeling of someone coming in and like literally saying, I'm sorry. We have the Empress. So someone has evolved quite a bit. This is the mother figure. This person is very creative, but also loving and nurturing. One of the things the Empress has learned in her life is to keep her heart open, not to shut it down. But she's also very wise. She's very strong. So, she's not going to say yes to just anybody. Like, your energy has got to be at a certain level for me to even consider. But I feel like someone's level is. I feel like saying, can you ever love me again? Will you ever love me again? But yet, the lovers is definitely, and the wheel, like, I feel like the answer is yes. We have the King of Cups, the Fool, beautiful. So the Fool is mirroring the lovers. I could definitely see how this could also be past life energy. And listen, it could be this lifetime also, but I feel like these people have spent past lives together. And then, hello, beautiful Temperance. Again, divine timing. Divine timing with the wheel here. How beautiful. Not just that, the lovers. That's mirroring now the Fool. Taking a leap of faith. I feel like I definitely feel someone's coming in, and I feel like the words that they're speaking, or at least, let's put it this way, feel healing to the soul. And then so it begins. I feel like you're both old souls. And that's probably why I feel like past lifetimes in your reading. Like this is not the first lifetime we were together. And maybe in a last lifetime we didn't complete whatever missions our souls set out to complete. So we're going to try again in this lifetime. Well, the Empress would be the perfect energy to accept that. And Temperance. All in divine timing, my dear. Just feels meant to be. I feel like this is one of those readings I don't want to overread it because I feel like it's literally showing us, like with what we have on the board, it's showing us. I also feel like this king, the King of Cups, the King of Cups to me is someone who normally is someone who like wants to be in love, appreciates love. And I feel like the Empress wouldn't have it any other way. I love seeing the Empress here because I feel like then I don't have to worry about you. And I love the Four of Swords underneath that. So the Empress healing of the past. And that's exactly what she would do. And then she would let that energy go, right? Just extract the wisdom. Doesn't mean I won't give someone another chance. Because again, I feel like someone's coming in and, may speak the words like, I'm sorry. I feel like whatever they're speaking, you're going to feel it's like the vibration of their voice reaches your very soul. I feel like you two are meant to be together. And I even feel stronger that I feel like there may be a purpose behind it. Like you may both be like healers. Where I feel like you may like actually be doing that in your life, but then I feel like this person, it feels like the vibration of their voice just feels right. It just feels right. Okay. And then we have Pisces. And much time. I think we're going to make it, Pisces. I think we're going to make it. And let's use the light seers for Pisces, my beautiful Pisces. Let's give them a cut. All right. Well, hello, Ten of Pentacles. Nothing better than opening up with that. Seven of Wands. Five of Wands. Interesting because first thing I say is nothing better than open up with that Ten of Pentacles. But now I want to take one more. Ten of Wands. Okay. Man, feels like something happened here. Feels like you had the Ten of Pentacles. And then I feel like a lot of ego came in between you and a love. You and a relationship. And I have to be honest, I feel like both egos got involved. To me, the Five of Wands is a lot of drama to the point where it moves into the Ten of Wands. Well, if you just look at the person as Ten of Wands, it's like she's leaving a mountaintop. And I have a feeling that's the Ten of Pentacles. But she's searching for the next mountaintop. So maybe something just didn't work out the way I had planned. Um, and maybe what I really needed to do was to move on. So let's see. Seven of Wands is about standing your ground. However, in the same breath, because it's next to the Five of Wands and then the Ten of Wands, I feel like there's got to be a point where it's like if I'm just constantly having to stand my ground, then maybe something's not right here. Because I feel like in the Seven of Wands, at least in this image, I feel like it's someone who's rising above the drama. And therefore, please. And this person's just taking whatever they can carry. This reminds me of my life. You know, like I've moved so many times, and literally when I moved into Sam's house, I had 2 suitcases. That's all I took. That's all I could bring. But I did find my next mountaintop. Some of you, it could be family. We have the Eight of Cups, so literally it does look like you're walking away from that Ten of Pentacles, but that could also be family for some of you. We have the Devil card of Capricorn, temptations. Three of Pentacles. I already know what this is. I feel like that I thought, and I feel like this has already happened because I feel like you're already on the move. But I do feel like I thought that I was with my forever person. But here's the thing. I don't think you were. And here's why. Because I don't feel like this person recognized you on a soul level, more on an earthly level, not your soul. It wasn't a soul to soul type of relationship. Could have been plenty of money, but that'll only satisfy us for so long. We have the Six of Wands coming over that Ten of Wands. Again, where this person kind of feels lonely, lost. Does have determination though. And then the Six of Wands over that. But I want to also go below it. Because I do feel like, a relationship where, again, it wasn't a soul to soul. It could have been like a free will, could have been karmic, could have been all the above. We had the Queen of Cups. Okay. So you did have to move on. Six of Swords does mean that you've moved on for something, but listen, you got to go back one card, and that's the Five of Swords, and that is toxic. It's toxic energy. We already know that because it feels like there's a lot of ego also. It just doesn't feel like my person. Didn't feel like, maybe it did for a moment, but I feel like, and then I realized this is not my person. All right? Four of Swords, so I like that especially because I feel like this really wasn't your person. Doesn't mean, again, not meant to be. Maybe it was meant to be. Maybe it was only meant to be for a moment. Maybe it taught you something very valuable. Maybe you taught them something. But this is like really letting it go, letting it be, not allowing it to like affect your present nor future. Page of Swords. Look at this, Page of Wands. And then Justice. So this could certainly be a marriage, or let's just say a relationship. And I feel like Justice is representing cutting of ties. Now, I also want to say I find it interesting because as we move along this line, right, up here, I already feel it. Someone just wasn't a soulmate. Maybe I thought they were, but they weren't. There definitely feel like there was a lot of ego involved. Probably a lot of battling type energy. Like nobody backs down from that type of energy. And really, I feel like it only leaves me one solution, and that is to leave it. That is to walk away from it. But listen, in the Six of Swords, temporarily, it can feel a little difficult just because you're going through the change. But right away, the Four of Swords, so you're able to put it behind you. And I get a feeling these two pages already know each other. I feel like some of you may be heading back, like heading back home, heading back somewhere that you used to live. And there may be someone that you reconnect with. And I don't even know that any of this is expected. I just feel like you reconnect with someone. And I feel like that reconnection, well, let's take a card over it, over these two pages. We have the Queen of Swords, so the Queen of Swords to the Page of Swords. And then we have the Hermit. Coming with the Page of Wands. First of all, let's talk about the Page of Wands. That is my risk taker. That is like my fool. This is someone who moves according to their passions. But listen, this is also someone who's got a lot of wisdom. I feel like you both share that. I feel like simply you may have thought you were with a soulmate. And I don't want you to like regret it, beat yourself up over it. Instead, I want you to look at how much you have grown from it. You know, even if I had to leave with just what I could carry, where you're heading feels right. So just take what you've learned. And I love that the healing comes first before these pages, because I do feel these pages are two people who already know each other. Or let's just say, and it doesn't even have to mean we were in love. It could have been just old friends that then turns into love. I'm going to take one more over them. Look at that, the Chariot, unlimited potential. That's why that Four of Swords was so important. Now, this feels like a soulmate. This feels like a karmic or free will. Divine is healing that. Don't allow it to take a lot of your time, your energy. Really, I feel like the more you can just let it be and let it go, and just again understand how you have grown from it. If nothing else, you now know what you do not want. But I cannot help but think that these two pages are able to see soul to soul. Where here, it was different. Justice, cutting ties. Some of you, you know, for me, justice can certainly represent a karmic relationship. So if it was a karmic relationship, then you do want to understand, what did I learn from it? Because a karmic relationship or karma, you know, if karma is usually energy that I have done to someone in one of my lifetimes. Because remember, just how good karma comes back to you, so can bad karma. So I do want to learn from it, but just to the point where then I can then put it behind me. And then the movement. And I feel like some of you, I swear, it's like you're moving back home. You know, I was just thinking, did I pull Mother Mary for the last for Aquarius and Capricorn? If I didn't, I apologize. For some reason, I'm feeling like I didn't. All right. Mercy, mercy. I am kind and thoughtful towards myself and others. In other words, I feel like it's not allowing, you know, people of the past to take up residency in your mind, in your brain, in your heart. You know, it's allowing yourself to be loving, nurturing, caring, but also wise. Okay, I'm going to let that be, but what I am going to do is because I don't think for Aquarius, though, I should look at my time because I don't want this to cut off. So Aquarius, would you, Mother Mary, for you? We have open your heart. I allow myself to feel the full range of emotions, especially all forms of love. And then compassion, where they kind of go hand in hand. I see and feel others' points of view with forgiveness and kindness. Forgiveness and kindness. Okay, that was for Aquarius. And then Sag, or I'm sorry, Capricorn, because I'm not sure I did yours. Watched over. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. Watched over. Okay, I'm going to let that be before my time runs out. If I did not pull Mother Mary for anyone else, I apologize. It just means I kind of got caught up in the reading. But I don't know, guys. Kind of loved it. I definitely know why I was guided to do this reading. And I cannot wait to hear comments, truly. But I will have them time stamped. Love, love, love. I feel like love is blossoming. It's just blossoming. Will we allow? Will we allow? All right, guys. I love you. I thank you. I thank you in every way you support my channel. Through your donations, it truly is what keeps me on YouTube. Through your comment section, I feel like not only do you help to give me clarification or confirmation, but I also feel like you help others. Especially if you've been through a certain energy, then you can help. Through your words. You never know who you're helping. I thank you for sharing the videos. I always say if you can't afford to donate, then share them, because that can really help a channel. Because it is hard to stay on YouTube. There is no doubt about it. It's hard to stay on YouTube. But in the same time, I couldn't imagine not being with you guys. I couldn't imagine. So, anyways, I thank you in 100 million ways. I hope that this love, first of all, that you allow, and it brings real joy to your heart. That is my wish for you. I love you guys. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.